Hello and welcome back to another video or audio if you're listening in an audio format. My name is Justina. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer or a listener, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today I'm going to talk about the second eclipse of this eclipse season, and this is a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. Now the nodes have already shifted to Pisces and Virgo in January 2025, so a couple of months ago, but this is the very final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis. So these eclipses started around April 2023, and now at the very end of March we are ending this cycle. Now, as an interesting fact, 19 years ago, also in March, on March 29th, and that was at 9 degrees of Aries, we had exactly the same eclipse. This is really interesting because especially if you have any placements around 9 degrees of one of the cardinal signs, Aries is a cardinal sign, so this would be, of course, Aries, Libra, Cancer or Capricorn, then you will be under a greater influence of this eclipse. But also think about what happened in your life around that time. This is especially significant because whenever the points in our chart or the planets are activated, this indicates major shifts in our life as well. If nothing is activated, there's still going to be something going on, but here with our natal placements being triggered by an eclipse, here usually things happen. Alright, so here if your birthday falls on the 29th, then this coming year will be huge because you'll be starting a brand new chapter in your life. Right, so Aries is a cardinal fire sign and it is ruled by Mars, and here that Aries energy is connected to new beginnings, courage, determination, impulsiveness. Now, in traditional astrology, Aries is considered diurnal, masculine, but also hot and dry in temperament. Now, the sun is exalted in Aries, which is great because here it amplifies the themes connected to self-assertion and leadership as well. But here Aries is of course also the sign connected to the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and this also signifies a fresh start, quick movement, independence. Now Aries of course doesn't like stagnation. Now from a traditional perspective, an eclipse is generally an omen of disruption. Solar eclipses are connected to major shifts, new beginnings, very often new endings as we begin something new, because here very often there's an element of obscuration as something essential is generally temporarily blocked out. Now historically they were often seen as signs, omens affecting kings, leaders, nations, because of course the sun represents rulers, represents power. Now, being the last eclipse on Aries and Libra axis, it also signals a culmination of issues connected to independence versus relationships, war versus peace, and of course self-interest versus compromise. Now this eclipse is happening at 9 degrees of Aries. Now this is the first decan of Aries, ruled by Mars, and this also reinforces that pure and raw energy of Aries in itself. Now in traditional astrology, the first decan of Aries represents warriors, pioneers, leaders, and it's generally about acting on instinct, taking risks, but also initiating something without hesitation. Now, interestingly, the 9th degree of Aries is also near the fixed star Algenib, and this fixed star is associated with boldness but also recklessness. Now, this degree could also signify impulsive decisions, the courage overall to break through barriers. Now here Mars is the ruler of this eclipse. Mars rules Aries. Mars is in Cancer at this point, the sign of its fall. So a difficult placement for Mars. Mars in Cancer is not its usual assertive self because it tends to act in Cancer more defensively, more emotionally, and more protectively. So the way this can manifest it can manifest that the bold initiating energy of Aries will be somewhat tempered by emotional concerns, by family matters, or perhaps the need for security and safety. Now, in mundane astrology, Mars in Cancer is connected to military conflicts, but also protection of one's homeland, or perhaps emotionally driven decisions. Now, Mars in Cancer can also bring a sense of passive aggressiveness, where our actions are not going to be direct, but rather motivated by deep emotional undercurrents. Both Mercury and Venus are still retrograde. Mercury is at 0 degrees of Aries, which also suggests a tendency to impulsive speech, miscommunication, conflicts even. But as it moves towards Pisces, the energy will shift from blunt thinking, direct speech to intuitive, foggy, maybe even deceptive communication. Generally, our decisions, our thoughts might feel unclear at times, emotionally charged, but there could also be delays when it comes to information, letters, emails. So you will have to be more patient with the retrograde phase of these planets. Now, Neptune is about to also move into Aries shortly after this eclipse, which also suggests huge major shifts in our ideals, our dreams and illusions. Because here Neptune is moving from spiritual Piscean energy to a more assertive, bold, possibly militant expression. Now, we also have a beautiful sextile, a wide sextile to Pluto in Aquarius, and this generally suggests here the solar eclipse with Pluto. This suggests that while this eclipse can feel disruptive, it also offers an amazing opportunity for deep transformation. So thank you very much. And now let's see how this eclipse will influence your zodiac sign, your ascendant sign. You can also watch it for your moon sign or your sun sign if you wish, just to get a bigger picture and a wider perspective upon your life. So thank you very much, and let's begin. All right, so hello Aries, and welcome to your horoscope. And we've got the solar eclipse happening in your first house of the self, in your first house in your sign. So a really important event of March for you that influences your life on a really deep level. And since this eclipse is also the final in Aries and Libra cycle, this also in a way marks the culmination of whatever started back in April 2023 when we started this particular cycle. So you might feel this sense of urgency, the need to take charge of your life or certain aspects of your life, perhaps to also redefine some of your goals, objectives as well. Generally, this eclipse signifies some major identity shifts when you will be shifting away from whatever doesn't align with your life, with your future. And this could also indicate career direction, shifts in your career direction, in your goals, objectives, relationships, essentially how the world perceives you and how you project yourself outward to the world. Now, this is, of course, the first decan of Aries, the 9th degree of Aries, which also amplifies this urgency, the sense of urgency, impatience, and the need to take action. Now, the ruler of this eclipse and also your ruler, chart ruler, Mars, is in Cancer, the sign of its fall, in your 4th house of home and family matters, your emotional foundations. And this suggests that while you might feel ready for a fresh start, your actions will be or will likely be influenced by your emotions, by your past, by family matters or family expectations. So you might find yourself caught up between your need to move forward and at the same time your need to deal with a family emotional matter. Now, overall, here Mars in Cancer doesn't fight in a straightforward way, not in the usual that Martian way, but it moves rather indirectly through emotional motivations, which could generally lead to that internal conflict that you might experience between your desire to take action and also to fulfill your deeper emotional needs. Mercury is still retrograde in Aries in your sign at this time, as 0 degrees about to transition into to Pisces, your 12th house. So clarity might be lacking at this point, and perhaps decisions that you make at the time of this eclipse might be potentially revised later in the month of April, when both Venus and Mercury station direct. So at the same time, of course, we've got a loose sextile to Pluto and Aquarius in your 11th house of friendships, communities, aspirations. This could bring an opportunity for transformation through social circles, through social interactions as well. And generally, you might find yourself aligning with a group, or perhaps this could be about stepping into a brand new community. Generally, this is about a personal reinvention to a certain extent through your involvement within a certain friendship circle, group of some sort as well. So generally, this is a powerful rebirth for you. But at the same time, moving forward, you will need to balance the impulse to act quickly with also the wisdom to address any inner and outer tensions before rushing ahead. So this isn't an eclipse to just rush ahead and take decisive actions. It's rather a time to really consider your options and work strategically with these energies. So thank you very much, Aries. And now let's have a look at the next sign, and that's Taurus. So Taurus, welcome. We've got a solar eclipse activating your 12th house of the subconscious, hidden matter, solitude, withdrawal. So here, this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis, and this also marks the culmination of a deeply personal, but often also transformational time that began in April 2023 with that very first eclipse in Aries that took place around that time. So generally, eclipses in the 12th house tend to bring shifts that aren't immediately visible, noticeable, but they rather unfold behind the scenes. So here, you might be having some strong internal realizations at this time. You might be going through spiritual awakening of some sort, but this is also an amazing time to release anything that isn't working anymore, anything that is holding you back. Because here, this house, the 12th house, is generally associated with healing, withdrawal, but also self undoing. And during this time, you might feel like you want to retreat, reflect, but at the same time, you might have to confront some energies from the past or fears that are holding you back. Now, the first decan of Aries overall, that 9th degree, where the eclipse occurs, is ruled by Mars. And this also emphasizes the energy of action, courage, personal willpower. However, with that 12th house influence, here, this is a reflective space in a way, but you might also experience a sense of frustration because you might feel a deep internal push to act, to take action, to break free from something that is holding you back. But at the same time, you might not have the full clarity at this point or energy motivation to do so. And this is because the ruler of this eclipse, Mars, is in Cancer. And here, Mars in Cancer is in its fall, the sign where Mars is weak. And it is positioned in your third house of communication, learning, siblings, your neighbors and your neighborhood overall. So this suggests that generally you might experience mental restlessness at this time, or perhaps there could be some conflicts connected to communication or travel as well, since Mercury is still retrograde. And overall, Mars in Cancer doesn't assert itself in a direct way, but rather through protective, defensive, emotionally driven decisions, actions, situations. So you might have this really strong urge to express something hidden or unspoken, but it may come out indirectly or perhaps through emotional outbursts rather than clear communication, clear words. So it's something to watch out for. How you communicate, how you get your message across. Mercury is still retrograde, along with Venus as well. So you might also experience a sense of mental fog, or perhaps you might have this really strong need to reassess your thoughts, your beliefs. And overall, this is here with also Neptune. Neptune is moving into Aries shortly after this eclipse is exact. So this could also create an additional sense of confusion and uncertainty, especially about what comes next. So this isn't a time to rush, but rather consider your options. Take a step-by-step approach. This eclipse also forms a loose white sextile to Pluto and Aquarius in your 10th house of career, public life. And this suggests that there's an element of transformation happening internally. And so here, this could be connected to your professional path, to your life direction, to your reputation. So this could indicate potential career shifts or the shift that will occur in your life direction overall. All right, so lots of internal energy, as you can see, but at the same time, an amazing opportunity to move away, to shift away from anything or let go of old fears, patterns that generally are holding you back and that are making it difficult to move forward. So thank you very much, Taurians. And now let's have a look at Geminis. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much. Hi, Geminis, and welcome. We've got Solar Eclipse activating your 11th house of friendships, social networks, your long-term goals, your community involvement. So this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra cycle, and this also suggests that this is a time of a certain degree of a culmination of a storyline that has been unfolding since April 2023. So this could have involved shifts that occurred in your friendship circle and group dynamics, but also your long-term goals. Now, here, the 11th house is where we connect with like-minded people. And this is where we also envision our life, our future as well. So this eclipse could potentially bring new beginnings in your social circle, new goals, dreams. And you might find yourself stepping into also into a leadership role within a group, within an organization, large organization. But at the same time, you might also, on the other hand, you might also feel like you want to distance yourself from certain connections in your life that no longer align with your evolving self, with your evolving identity. Now, the first decan of Aries, where this eclipse occurs, is ruled by Mars. And this emphasizes, as I mentioned earlier, the themes connected to ambition, courage, and that strong pioneering energy. However, Mars is weakly placed at this time in the sign of Cancer, in the sign of its fall. And here, Mars is in your second house of money, values, self worth. So, this suggests that while there might be some exciting new developments happening in the area of friendships, community involvement, Um, Generally, some financial concerns or perhaps some self-worth issues could generally influence how you navigate these changes, the changes occurring at this time. Now, for some, this could also manifest as potential. Um, Perhaps you're considering a major investment in the near future, or perhaps you want to reassess, reevaluate your financial area of your life. Overall, Mars in Cancer doesn't function um, in the same way as it functions when it is in Aries here, because here with Mars in Cancer, Mars tends to act indirectly through emotions, through protection, which could also manifest as a hesitancy in fully embracing, taking advantage of the opportunities that arise at this time. And this is because perhaps you will be experiencing, perhaps, or the energies of surrounding this eclipse could activate some financial spheres of or insecurities, especially those unhealed ones. So, if this is the case, then you have a chance to release them, heal them, understand them from a different light, different perspective. Now, at the same time, of course, your ruler is still retrograde and in Aries, about to move into Pisces. And here, Venus is also retrograde. So this could also perhaps bring up some old conversations with your friends, or perhaps some unresolved issues or some misunderstandings. So this is a chance to resolve any issues that return from the past, but at the same time, this is also a chance to heal them. Now, overall, here we also have Venus is still retrograde as well. So this isn't a time to rush with any major decisions, to make any drastic changes, but rather it's you can start to think about the new beginnings and things you want to change, implement in your life. I'm sure this has already come up during the retrograde phase of Mercury, but if you can wait until the middle of April before committing to something serious and life changing, that will be probably more beneficial because there is an element of transformation, deep transformation, even with this eclipse widely sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. So really, really interesting energies. Overall, here with this eclipse, you will be redefining your social circle, your future goals. But at the same time, this is also a time when perhaps it's better to be a little bit more cautious with your finances. And all right, so thank you very much, Geminis. And now we will have a look at the next sign, and that's Cancer. Cancer's welcome. We've got a solar eclipse activating your 10th house of career, public life, life direction. If this isn't your career, this could be your life direction, the direction that you're heading with your life, depending on your circumstances and your age and life phase, of course. But here we got the final eclipse here on Aries and Libra axis, of course. So this at the same time marks a major turning point in your professional life path and generally in how you see the world. But also we've got this culmination at the same time of a career-related story that has been unfolding since April 2023 when this cycle began. So for some Cancer risings, this could indicate a major job opportunity coming up very, very soon, or perhaps a shift in management, changes in your existing organization, or perhaps a moment when you might feel more visible in your role. Now, for others, this could also indicate a strong push, a stimulation, if you will, to break away from an unfulfilling professional life path. And perhaps you will want to take more control of your destiny moving forward. Right. So this is the first decan of Aries, of course, the ninth degree where this eclipse occurs, and Mars rules this eclipse. Mars rules Aries. So here with Mars in Aries, the sign of its fall, and also in your first house, of course, this could indicate that you'll be experiencing a strong inner fire even, or this strong need to take action to achieve your goals, to achieve your objectives. But here, Mars in Cancer doesn't operate with pure aggression, but rather it tends to act from a place of emotional conviction, self protection, and also deep personal motivation. And what this suggests is that perhaps any career life direction shifts, changes that occur around this time could be about your status, about your ambition, or perhaps about something deeply personal to you. So, Mercury is still retrograde at this time in Aries, about to move into Pisces. And so here the 10th and the ninth house will be activated. So this could also bring a career-related delay, for example, miscommunications, or perhaps your need to reevaluate, reassess, rethink your long-term goals. And in your chart, Mercury rules your third house of communication. So perhaps you will want to reevaluate also your goals. But here with these energies, and Mercury being retrograde, you might also feel slightly unclear about the next step you want to take, or perhaps you might struggle to articulate what you want to do professionally speaking. So it's generally a time to reevaluate, reassess rather than rush forward, because clarity will come, but not necessarily on the day of this eclipse, but rather at least after the 7th of April. Now, here we also have an element of transformation because this eclipse will sextile, loosely sextile Pluto in Aquarius in your eighth house of shared resources and deep emotional shifts. So this generally suggests that anything to do with well, the emotions will be very high around this time, but you might be also dealing with some financial matters, maybe some investments. For example, perhaps there could be an opportunity very soon for collaboration, partnership, investment. And all right, so that's what I've got for you today. Thank you very much, Cancers. And now let's have a look at the next sign. All right, so Leo's welcome. So here, this eclipse will take place in your ninth house. So the ninth house is connected to foreign places, foreign travel, life direction, legal matters. So this is a really important eclipse, especially in your worldview, when it comes to your beliefs, when it comes to your aspirations as well. So this eclipse offers an opportunity for new beginnings in these areas. Maybe not immediately, but definitely at some point in the very near future. And of course, this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis. And this also represents a certain degree of an end, culmination, if you will, of a much larger story that has been unfolding since this cycle began, and that was in April 2023. So, what is it that you're starting or redefining connected to your education, foreign places, foreign people, foreign travel, legal matters? And all right, so this generally eclipse brings a massive opportunity for expanding your knowledge. So studying, you might be studying something new. You might thinking about relocating as well. Or perhaps it could be about publishing. The ninth house deals with publishing, with working with people on a global scale, in global organizations, coaching, teaching, spreading knowledge, for example. Now, at the same time, you might also feel a really strong urge, generally to free yourself from any beliefs, life principles that are not yours, that no longer resonate. Here with this eclipse, this is about embracing a more of an independent, self-directed path moving forward. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mars, and Mars is in Cancer, the sign of its fall, and here in your 12th house. So the energies might be slightly low while Mars remains in Cancer before it moves into a Leo. But here the 12th house deals with solitude, hidden matters, the subconscious. So this generally creates a really interesting dynamic because while this eclipse is pushing you towards expansion, travel, new experiences, Mars in Cancer in the 12th house can generally suggest that perhaps you'll be dealing with some emotional blockages, or perhaps you'll be working through some hidden fears. There's a lot of energy that wants you to heal and perhaps overcome certain limitations before Mars leaves Cancer and moves into Leo. The reason for that is because Mars has been retrograde in Cancer, and during that time, so a certain degree of fears and perhaps hidden fears, emotional blockages may have come back, showed up, resurfaced. So here, while Mars remains in Cancer, you have this amazing opportunity to work behind the scenes and liberate yourself, free yourself, heal yourself from these negative themes, energies, and patterns if this is something that you are experiencing. So, generally, if you are experiencing any feelings of self doubt and or perhaps some unresolved emotional baggage, and then the universe is trying to tell you that these emotions, these energies need to be processed first, healed, released before you can move forward. So Mercury is still retrograde at this time, about to move into Pisces from Aries. Venus is also retrograde, and this is all happening in your ninth house. And then Mercury will soon shifting into your eighth house, where Venus is already present with Saturn. So this also indicates, because of course Mercury also rules your second house, where Virgo is present. So you might also find yourself reevaluating your financial situation, your financial goals at this time, any investments. And all right, so that's here what I've got for you. But at the same time, here, since the ninth house also, of course, rules teaching, writing, you might be involved in some content creation or publishing, but perhaps try to reevaluate, reassess, check, rethink your messaging. Generally, wait for clarity on major decisions because even though this is an eclipse that could be essentially great for publishing, but because Mercury is retrograde, perhaps acting on impulse on the day of this eclipse could generally bring undesired results. So if you can, try to delay and well, until after the 13th of April, or at least the 7th. All right, so thank you very much, Leos. And now let's have a look at the next sign. All right, so hello, Virgos, and welcome. We've got a solar eclipse taking place in Aries, and this eclipse will activate your eighth house. So the eighth house deals with transformation, regeneration, third and joined resources, psychological depth as well. So this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis. And since generally, if you think about the story that has been unfolding since April 2023, when this cycle began, now this particular eclipse brings closure to a larger theme connected to your investments, your deep connections, anything to do with loans, mortgages, as well, debts. All right, so generally, the eighth house is not about superficial change, it's about deep, lasting transformation. And this eclipse is really pushing you to move away from some old fears, and it's about stepping into a new version of yourself. So here, some Virgos during this time might be entering or perhaps exiting some financial agreements, or perhaps you might be experiencing a really, really deep and profound internal shift that could change how you approach power dynamics, emotional security, because the eighth house is not about superficial change, but about deep and lasting transformation. So this eclipse is pushing you to move away from some old fears and step into a new version of yourself. Now, this eclipse will happen in the ninth degree, well, in the ninth degree of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And Mars, at this time, the ruler of this eclipse, is in the sign of Cancer, the sign of its fall in the area of friendships, networks, your future goals, plans, and hopes. So this suggests that whatever shifts that will be occurring, taking place around this time, they are connected also to potential shifts taking place in your social circle or anything to do with your long-term dreams and goals as well. Now, Mars in Cancer can be very protective and emotionally driven. So at the same time, you might have this strong need to secure your place within a certain community, or perhaps you might be dealing with a certain situation connected to group dynamics, or perhaps you might be reevaluating who you can truly trust in your life. Now, at the same time, your ruler Mercury is still retrograde in Aries, about to move into Pisces. Now, Mercury, of course, rules your first house. It also rules your 10th house of career. So this retrograde also suggests that you might be reevaluating your career path, your life direction as well, and also questioning how your career, how your public life defines you. Now, at the same time, you might be also having lots of conversations about business partnerships, about money, for example, investments. And since the eighth house also deals with trauma, healing, this is also a period where you might be dealing with some deep fears, or perhaps some past traumas that might resurface around this time. So, this is a great opportunity to address any emotional wounds before moving forward with full clarity. Now, Venus is still retrograde as well in Pisces in your seventh house of relationships, and this is also an energy that will make you want to reevaluate your one-to-one connections in your life. So we also have an element of transformation, of course. Pluto in Aquarius is activated by a sextile. So this also suggests possible shifts in your daily life, at your work, in your diet, for example. Overall, this eclipse is about confronting your fears around vulnerability, control, dependency, whether in the financial sense or in the emotional sense. So it's a great time to release any unhealthy commitments, attachments, connections, even in your life, as you prepare for these brand new beginnings taking place in your life. So thank you very much, Virgos, and let's have a look at the next sign. Hello, Libras, and welcome to your horoscope for the upcoming solar eclipse in Aries. And this eclipse will activate your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, and one-to-one connections overall. So, a really an amazing opportunity for a powerful new beginning in your personal but also professional relationships. And this is also when you might experience a major shift in how you engage with others, how you form commitments, how you assert your individuality, how you assert your independence within partnerships, within unions. And this is, of course, also the final eclipse of this cycle on Libra and Aries. So it, in a way, brings a certain degree of closure to a storyline that has been unfolding since April 2023. So some Libras will be entering a, brand new relationship, or perhaps this could be about shifts happening in the existing relationship, partnerships, and how you approach love. And this could be related to some possible business agreements as well. But because Aries energy is bold, direct, independent, this eclipse is also pushing you to take charge of your relationships, of your relational dynamics, rather than passively wanting for others to take the lead. Now, here this eclipse is happening at 9 degrees of Aries, so that's the first decan of Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars. So Mars is the ruler of this eclipse, and Mars is in Cancer in your 10th house of career, life direction, public reputation. Mars in Cancer isn't strong, but this energy generally suggests that whatever is unfolding in your relationships will be somehow connected to your life direction, public image, professional life path. And perhaps for some, this could also indicate that your career responsibilities, obligations are or might be affecting your relationships, personal relationships, or perhaps that this could also indicate that your professional connections, relationships, contracts are shifting. Now, Mars in Cancer can be emotionally driven, as we discussed earlier, highlighting a possible tension between your personal and professional life dynamics. And at the same time, this could also bring up feelings of protectiveness or perhaps security concerns in both love life, but also in your career. So here with these retrograde, you might be also reevaluating any long distance connections, perhaps your beliefs, life principles as well. And since Mercury will soon after this eclipse move into Pisces, into your sixth house of daily life, daily routine, this could also influence your daily responsibilities, daily life, perhaps the need for more structure, the need for being more organized. For example, now Venus is your ruler, of course, and it is retrograde throughout the month of March. So this is a great time to also reassess the balance in your life, because any imbalance will become very visible and apparent. Right. Now we've got an element also of some transformative energy, because Pluto in Aquarius is activated by a sextile, a wide and loose sextile coming from this eclipse. And here Pluto is in your fifth house of creativity, romance, self-expression. So this suggests that there might be a certain degree of transformation happening in your romantic side of life. And perhaps this could be also about your children, if you have children, that your relationship with them is transforming in one way or another. Now, it's also a great time for freeing yourself from anything, any negative energies that are holding you back from being yourself. All right. So overall, here, this eclipse, a big one in your seventh house. It's generally a certain degree of a turning point in your relationship. So this is about taking more initiative in your one-to-one connections, whether it's a love relationship or a business partnership, for example. All right, so thank you very much, Libras. That's what I've got for you today. And let's have a look at Scorpios. All right, so hello, fellow Scorpios, and welcome. So we've got an eclipse taking place in Aries, and that's your sixth house, work, health, daily life, daily responsibilities. It's very much highlighted. So this is a good time for generally getting back on track in terms of productivity, effectiveness, structure. This is very needed with the approaching Neptune and Saturn transition into Aries. Temporary this year, but next year more permanent. So this is generally here with this eclipse and significant new beginning in your area of your routine, daily life, daily habits, and also work and life balance. And this is the final eclipse in Aries on Aries and Libra axis. So this eclipse, in a way, brings closure to a much larger cycle that has been unfolding since April 2023. So, for some Scorpios, this could manifest as a new job opportunity or perhaps some changes in work dynamics, work environments. Perhaps you'll be adopting or implementing some changes in your wellness routine. And this eclipse wants you to be more proactive, wants you to engage in activities connected to self-improvement. This is about generally creating more efficiency in your daily life. It's about taking a better care of yourself, of your body. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mars, which is also your traditional ruler. And Mars is weak at this time in the sign of its fall, in the sign of Cancer, in your ninth house of higher education, travel, belief system. This suggests that whatever shifts are happening in your daily life, at your work, are probably connected to a broader vision for your future, to a bigger story. And some Scorpios will be reconsidering their career path. You might be also engaging in the studies, courses, anything to do with self-development, self-growth. But generally, Mars in Cancer is emotionally driven. So this generally means that you might be making decisions based on your intuition, on inner emotional instinct, security, rather than pure logic. So at the same time, you might feel pulled between your responsibilities, duties, and your desire for exploration, self-growth, self-development. Now, Mercury and Venus are still retrograde at this point. Venus is in Pisces and Mercury is about to move into Pisces, still in Aries at this point. So this is also when it's a good time for reevaluating your daily reality, your daily life, your work environment. And we've got also an element of transformation because Pluto, your modern ruler, is activated. And that's in the fourth house. So this suggests here with a sextile from coming from the eclipse to Pluto. This suggests that any potential deep changes in your personal life, whether connected to family dynamics, your living situation, your inner world, they are in a way influencing your approach to work, your approach to wellness as well. So you might be restructuring your home life in one way or another. Perhaps this could be about also changing your routine. It's about simplifying your life or overall. If you think isn't enough structure, if things are out of hand, or if things are disorganized, this is a chance for you to implement the necessary changes. So thank you very much, Scorpios. And let's move into the next sign. And that's we are moving into Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, welcome. We've got this eclipse activating here in Aries, your fifth house of creativity, romance, pleasure, children, self-expression. So this overall marks a really, really powerful new beginning in one of these areas of your life, but at the same time, a certain degree of a shift in how you pursue joy, happiness in the area of passion, self expression, romance, children. So, this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis, and this also means that there are some endings and new beginnings. In a way, you're closing a chapter that has been unfolding since April 2023. So, at the same time, new doors will be opening for a fresh start in the romantic side of your life, in the creative side of your life. So, you might feel this really strong urge to engage in some creative activities. This is a great time for starting or engaging in hobbies, interests, something that generally makes you feel alive, something that excites you as well. And that ninth degree of Aries is ruled by Aries, is the first decan of Aries as well. So here ruled by Mars, and this generally amplifies the energy of action, directness, and this can generally motivate you to take the lead in matters of love, creativity, of your own business, of parenting. Now, Mars, the ruler of this eclipse, is in Cancer, the sign of its fall in your eighth house of intimacy, shared resources, finances, transformation. So, this suggests that whatever is unfolding around this time, whether in your area of romance, parenting, children, creativity, entertainment, is in a way deeply connected to shared commitments, um, something deeper, something deeper. Um, Something of a deeper nature. So, for some, this could also manifest as the need to deal with anything to do with trust issues in relationships, or perhaps you might be facing an internal transformation that, in a way, affects your or impacts, influences your ability to experience joy, happiness, fulfillment in your life, because Mars in Cancer is overall emotionally charged. And this means that these shifts happening around this time may bring up some deep seated feelings or emotions that will require you to address the fears, possible fears around power dynamics, around intimacy, around financial matters overall. Now, Mercury and Venus are still retrograde. Mercury is at 0 degrees of Aries, about to shift into the fourth house of home and family matters. So here with Mercury retrograde in the meantime, still in your fifth house, this could also mean that you might be returning to some unfinished projects, goals, ideas. Perhaps this could be about reconnecting with someone from the past in the romantic sense, but at the same time communicate as clearly as you can, because with Mercury retrograde, miscommunication is possible at this time as well. We've got an element of transformation, empowerment as well, with Pluto being activated in your third house of communication, learning, mindset. This new moon solar eclipse sextiles very loosely and widely Pluto in Aquarius. And this can generally mean that you might be also experiencing a deep, profound shift in how you think, in your mindset, in how you communicate as well. This is generally about now with Pluto establishing itself in the area of communication and your mindset in the sign of Aquarius. Moving forward, this is about adopting a more empowered voice. It's about exploring new ways of expressing yourself, maybe through podcasts, maybe through writing, for example. Perhaps this is about studying, learning, diving into studies that align with your passions, with your interests. So, thank you very much, Sagittarius. And let's have a look at Capricorns. Capricorns, welcome. We've got a solar eclipse in Aries activating your fourth house of home and family matters. And this eclipse signifies a major shift. Now, the reason for that is because this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis. So we've got a shift of energy in your living situation, family dynamics, or perhaps that in your inner sense of security and stability in your life. And this is the final eclipse in Aries and Libra, on Aries and Libra axis. So it also marks the closure of a phase or a chapter that has been unfolding since April 2023. So we've got some new beginnings coming up in the area of home, whether you will be relocating, whether you'll be making some big significant changes to your home life, living situation. This will depend highly on your other placements in your chart, on your circumstances, but overall you will likely experience an internal shift. And this is about redefining what security means to you on a deeper level, what belonging means to you on a deep, profound level. Now, this eclipse is ruled by Mars. Mars is the ruler of Aries, and Mars is positioned in the sign of Cancer, the sign of its fall, in your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, and commitment. So, this suggests that whatever shifts that will occur around this eclipse, I'm not saying it's going to happen on the day, in the area of home, in the area of your emotional world, will directly influence your one-to-one connections, relationships as well. So for some Capricorns, this could manifest as making a home or having to make a home-related decision with your partner. Perhaps this could be about dealing with some possible tensions, since Mercury is still retrograde and Venus as well. But it doesn't necessarily have to be in your love life. Maybe this could be with someone at your work or with a business related relationship, for example. Whatever the scenario here, it's basically Mars in Cancer is highly, highly sensitive and protective. And this means that relationships may feel very intense at this time. They may trigger some deep, possibly unhealed emotions connected to security and trust. And since Mercury and Venus are still retrograde at this time, this is a time to communicate as clearly as you can, and in order to avoid any misunderstandings or confusion. Now we've got an element of transformation depth, because this eclipse will sextile Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is in your second house of finances, self-worth, material resources. So this suggests that these possible deep transformations in the area of finances, in the area of self-worth, will somehow influence your home and family life. So perhaps you'll be making a major financial decision related to your home, to a property, or alternatively, you might be experiencing an internal shift on a deeper level. So that's here what I've got for you, Capricorns. Now let's have a look at the next sign, Aquarius. So hello, Aquarius, and welcome. We've got an eclipse taking place in Aries, and this eclipse activates your third house of short distance travel, daily interactions, learning, communication. So this eclipse is a really powerful time. It's a powerful shift in how you speak, in how you deliver your message, in how you communicate, in how you think, in how you connect with people in your immediate environment. And since this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis, this also means that there's a certain degree of kind of endings and beginnings taking place, because you are closing a cycle that began and that has been unfolding overall since April 2023. So here, major shifts and changes in your mindset, or of your mindset, in how you communicate. And for some Aquarius rising, this could be the beginning of a new project involving writing, teaching, public speaking, while for others, Others may also experience changes in their local community. This could be about shift in dynamic in your with your relationship with your siblings, for example. And there could be like a shift of energy happening in your daily routine as well. And here, this eclipse is ruled by Mars. And Mars at this time is in the sign of Cancer, the sign of its fall, in your sixth house of work, health, and daily habits. And this suggests that whatever shifts are happening in your mindset, in your communication area of your life, in your immediate environment, or perhaps in your connection with your siblings, for example. This is about restructuring your schedule, your routine, in order to create more balance. And generally, Mars in Cancer can bring emotional intensity to the area of your work, to the area of your wellness, well-being. Here, if you feel stressed, if you feel tired, take a break because there's an increased possibility to have a burnout, especially if you don't look after your health, after your well-being. Mercury and Venus are still retrograde. Mercury is still retrograde in Aries at the time of this eclipse, about to move into Pisces. So communicate as clearly as you can, because there is a tendency also to towards miscommunication. But at the same time, you might be also reviewing some past important conversations, meetings from the recent past. And perhaps some things might feel unclear and you'll be clarifying them. Now, this eclipse also connects with Pluto in Aquarius by a very loose and wide sextile, and Pluto is in your first house of the self, of your identity. This also suggests a possible transformation on a deeper level. And the transformations that are occurring in your life that are kind of making you shift away from the old you, they are in a way influencing your mindset, how you communicate, how you connect with others, how you engage with the world. Generally, this eclipse gives you an amazing opportunity to step into a more empowered version of yourself. So one of the steps to do so is to move away, shift away from any outdated ways of thinking, of any negative beliefs, patterns. Also, thank you very much, Aquarius. And now let's have a look at the next and final sign, and that's Pisces. So Pisces, welcome. We've got a solar eclipse coming up on 29th, and this solar eclipse will activate your financial sector, and that's your income, your resources, possessions, self-worth, material stability. This eclipse marks a very significant turning point in your financial life. It can bring both endings and new beginnings, but since this is the final eclipse on Aries and Libra axis, it also signifies a culmination of themes that have been unfolding since April 2023. So for some Pisces rising, this could be about stepping into a new financial chapter, not necessarily on the day, but here in the days following this or weeks following this eclipse. And this could indicate a new source of income or perhaps a shift in how you manage your finances, your money. But at the same time, this is also about perhaps some shifts going on connected to your self-worth, because this is a time when you might be very well letting go of any financial patterns, some old and negative financial habits, patterns, fears, insecurities that have been holding you back. Now, the ruler of this eclipse is Mars, and Mars is in Cancer at this time. Mars in Cancer is not very strong because this is the sign of its fall. And here, Mars in Cancer, that's your fifth house. So this suggests generally with the ruler of the eclipse in your 12th house, this suggests, sorry, not 12th house, in your fifth house, this suggests that any possible financial new beginnings happening in your life around this eclipse will be in some way connected to your passion, to your interests, perhaps to a side hustle, to your business. Perhaps you'll be also working on healing self-worth if you feel it has been wounded in some way in the past, and it it kind of makes it difficult to attract abundance, or perhaps your self-worth impacts your ability to generally be successful and fulfilled. If you have a low self-worth, then this is a good time for also working on these negative energies, working with affirmations, understanding what is blocking your ability to attract wealth, to attract success. Now, Mars in Cancer is very, very emotional and protective. And this means that any financial decisions at this time that you'll be making, for example, they might be emotionally driven by some deeply rooted desires, emotional needs, rather than pure logic. So also keep this in mind in case you'll be dealing with some major transactions. Now, here, Mercury still retrograde in Aries, about to move into Pisces. So here, you will be reevaluating your choices, your actions, and this isn't a time to make any bold statements, to rush with any decisions. Try to wait until after the 13th of April, because especially because you will have both Mercury and Venus retrograde in your first house of the self. This isn't a good time for making any big changes in your life. If you can, definitely wait with all these retrogrades in your first house. But you will see that some aspects of your life might be even delayed, so it will be even impossible to launch anything, even if you really want to on the day. But overall, if you can, try to delay any major decisions, transactions after the 13th of April. But overall here, this eclipse will also widely and loosely connect with Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house. And this suggests some very profound shifts that will push you to confront hidden fears, limiting beliefs, especially about money, about your ability to succeed, to attract wealth, to attract abundance. So here you have an amazing opportunity for healing, letting go as well. So thank you very much, Pisces.